Hello, my name is THERESA, and I would like to share my experiences of collaborative practices and stakeholder engagement with you. I am affiliated with the Austrian Public Health Institute, located in Vienna, and I'm also a PhD researcher at the Faculty of Social Sciences at KU Leuven in Belgium. I'm driven by the fact that early childhood is of great importance for society, and I think that there is a societal responsibility even to create conditions for children to have a healthy start into life in most stable and safe environments. Support programs, those targeting families or only mothers, are important interventions in early childhood, and I'm particularly interested in them. So what's my research about? My research contributes to the exploration of the phenomenon of context in knowledge translation processes. The main objective was to develop an instrument supporting end users of systematic reviews when they translate the review evidence into their practice. It was also developed to create awareness in review authors when they draft their implications for policy and practice. For the instrument's development and testing purposes, we used a case of early childhood interventions. Collaboration with various stakeholders has been a continuous effort throughout the various steps of this project, and I'll come back to that at a later stage. We named the instrument Consensus. It stands for Context-Sensitive Systematic Reviews. Consensus has 4 major parts. Each of these 4 parts contains a number of contextual dimensions that need to be taken into consideration when review authors formulate and draft their implication sections. All in all, Consensus has 52 items to tick off. Embracing a pragmatist approach to do my research meant to me to use methods that allowed me to be sensitive to my research environment, to focus on applied research, to value different forms knowledge can have, and value the truth that the different stakeholders involved in my research bring to the fore. This is a picture of William James, whose pluralist view of the truth felt natural to me throughout my observations of support practices in early childhood. Central to my pragmatist argument was also the idea of serendipity. Serendipity means to place value in chance and coincidence, and to act upon the principle that the data, as well as the stakeholders with whom I collaborate to produce the data, are all out there and they want to be engaged. Since we speak about collaborative practices, let me give you a few examples how this looked like in my work. As a first step, we invited practitioners from the area of early childhood interventions into a series of transnational focus groups. To recruit these practitioners, we collaborated with our professional networks. While we conducted this study, we also collaborated with the Cochrane Consumers and Communication Group to develop a qualitative evidence synthesis on breastfeeding support programs. We also collaborated with review experts and methodologists and invited them into a face validity procedure on the instrument's perceived value. We lastly piloted our proposed instrument to formulate our own implication section in our review and collaborated for this with our review colleagues on the perceived usefulness and application of the instrument. To this pilot workshop, we also invited Cochrane Austria, with whom we are still collaborating on a publication on the final instrument today. Lastly, I'd like to show you a world map in which I pinned down the locations of the stakeholders I collaborated with. I like to refer to this map as the wideness of my projects. Collaborating with many different stakeholders brings challenges. For instance, we had no budget to reimburse focus group participants or to travel somewhere to conduct focus groups there. Putting on a pragmatic lens when collaborating with different stakeholders also meant to respond flexibly to a changing context, and that different stakeholders had different expectations of what they considered a useful outcome of my research. From time to time, I was in a position of uncertainty because I didn't know the collaborators personally and whether I could rely on their input and engagement in the long term. I have 2 major take-home messages that I'd like to share. Offering stakeholders your trust is likely to be returned by them, as most people who want to be involved have good intentions. Living with uncertainty, using serendipity, and growing tolerance for not knowing whom and where to end up with is crucial.